Hello and welcome back. Now this is the TerraMaster F6425 Pro. We'll talk more about this later on, but this video isn't about this device strictly. We've got a whole review coming up on this, blah blah blah, speed test, software, power and the rest of it. But this video is about something I've been chasing now for about half a year. You may see there on the left hand side, we'll be coming to that screen in just a moment. But I'm trying to find the perfect middle. Now, what do I mean by the perfect middle? I think we can all agree that 2026 has been something of a bummer when it comes to buying hardware, whether it is the RAM, SSDs and everything else and the hard drives and more that's making it very, very difficult, and the impact of all of that across all the other devices in our home lab and just our home lives, really, or all the ancillary effects of other things, from the raw materials going into things like neon, going into semiconductor production, and indeed just AI generally getting first dibs on everything. Buying hardware is getting tougher, and therefore the decisions we make in tech get harder, and the NAS industry is really suffering because of it. Now, the reason I'm talking about the perfect middle is because right now, as a first-time NAS buyer, it has never been worse in terms of making the wrong decisions, and ultimately trying to find a device that ticks as many boxes as possible within the price is getting harder. Now, if we had the unlimited money glitch from The Sims, then fine, we could just buy anything, have everything. But what is definitively the best NAS for the price, the perfect middle ground? And I would like to present the case that this is kind of the closest I found yet. Now this the F6425 Pro, it arrives with an Intel 13th generation i3 processor. It arrives with 8 gig of DDR5 SODIMM memory, scalable up to 64. It's got integrated graphics, they're on board. It's got 6 hard drive bays. It has 3 M.2 bays, 1 at Gen 3x4, 2 at Gen 4x4. It has, on the rear, 2 10 gig NICs, 2 USB 4, it has 2 10 gig USBs, it's got HDMI out. It arrives with TOS 7 with a flexible RAID system to mix and match the drives, and it's knocking around for about 950 nicker. Now, there are promos, it's TerraMaster after all, so their own website, seasonal events, Prime Day and all that stuff. You can generally get maybe about another $100 knocked off the top there. But this right now is sort of the best you can get for the money. Doesn't make it the best NAS that's ever existed, and TerraMaster is by no means the best NAS brand. In terms of software, there are other options in the market. In terms of pure hardware, there are other better options in the market. But at around $950, this right now presents sort of insane value. Now, as I say, it's not perfect. It doesn't support ECC. It doesn't support ZFS. It doesn't, on board, have an internal PSU. You have to use an external PSU. Who the hell likes that on a 6-bay? But the fact still remains that this, alongside the TerraMaster NAS supporting third-party operating systems without it harming the warranty, presents a very interesting value proposition. And over the course of the last 7 months, I've talked about a lot of NAS devices. So, for example, here on the page, there's the 425 Pro, as you can see there on screen. That's that price tag. They've already got a promo running on it. Again, get used to promos with this brand. But the other NAS offerings right now, such as the UGREEN, the DXP 4800, that one right now knocks around for about $550. Again, that is UK pricing on there with the tax as well. But this has dual 10 gig, and this is a great NAS, by the way. I'm not suggesting it isn't. It's got ECC support, it's got 10 GBE, it's got that. But the software isn't as evolved as TerraMaster's. It only has 4 bays, the 2 M.2s inside, a Gen 3x2. And it is a bit more of a limited proposition. It has lots of the things missing from it. Also, the operating system runs on a small area of eMMC storage there. So it's not quite as desirable in that regard. So yes, it's cheaper, but there are bells and whistles that aren't present. We go to Minis Forum. Minis Forum has got the Pro AI NAS and the Air NAS. These are both 5-bay NAS devices, knocking around at around $499 to $799 without the tax. Again, decent enough proposition, 5 bays, 3 M.2s inside, PCIe upgrade, But again, these are without the RAM included, and the operating system takes up one of the M.2s on a 64 gig eMMC module there. I'm sorry, a small M.2 delivered eMMC. And it's only got one 10 gig and one 5 gig port there. So again, yes, it is a lower price, but we are talking about value. Moving forward, the U-Star series, great 6-bay. It's got 4 M.2s delivered via a sled, not unlike the ZimaCube that we've already talked about. But at $650, that model, again, doesn't include the RAM. The 10 gigs are SFP. It doesn't have an operating system included with it. And again, a lot of the value proposition is just not there when you compare it to something like the TerraMaster. The ZimaCube are more of a complete solution. It's got 6 hard drive bays, 4 M.2s there, but it's only got one 10 gig port. And again, when you look at the ZimaCube non-Pro, and remember, this is the non-Pro edition at that, there are still ways behind. It's an older CPU as well. Synology has got the 8-bay, and their software is fantastic. It arrives with ECC, fantastic stuff. Again, the 1825, however, doesn't have 10 gig networking, doesn't allow for utility of the M.2s. It's a little bit more of a closed system, arguably. It does rock out an AMD 4-core 8-thread processor there, and I'm not suggesting any of the NASs I've discussed so far are inherently bad, but this video is about talking about the middle, the perfect value. And that extends if you go for, say, UGREEN's 8-bay models, where they've got the DXP 8-bay series, a great NAS solution. And again, scales up a lot of the elements. But like a lot of brands, the pricing of a lot of these devices has gone up in the last 6 to 12 months. And although a lot of the hardware we're seeing here is very, very similar to what we see here on the TerraMaster, it's still not quite the same value as an overall package. Probably closer with the 6800 Pro. That's probably as close as you can get. But again, it just doesn't have the full complement that we're seeing here. But this is probably the closest we've found to that. And in terms of value, if what you care about more than anything is the price tag and you're not thinking of the extra bells and whistles, something like a UNAS Pro 8, which has got 3 10 gig ports there and has got 8 storage bays, but it is a rack mount. It has a higher power consumption. It has it doesn't have the M.2 slots inside. The software is a little bit more limited, arguably there. And if you go to the other end of the spectrum, you've got things like Unraid, which are combined with 45 drives and made a great solution. But this one starts at $299. Now, that might have seemed like a big old shopping list there. But the point I'm making is we need to be looking more at value than we are looking at the price tag and find the perfect middle when it comes to buying a NAS. This video isn't just about me saying you should buy this, because genuinely it ain't perfect. There are other things and other options in the market and from TerraMaster themselves, as well as other brands that you can go for. But let's talk about the perfect middle. Take to the comments below and tell me a NAS device you think is the perfect middle. Remember, we are talking about price and value. We're not just talking about this has got the best spec or if you compromise, it's game over. We're looking for the best value in 2026. Again, other users want to know. They are looking at making the purchase. Maybe they're not going on holiday this year and they're using that bunch they're saving on some upgrades. Nevertheless, stay tuned. The full review of the 425 Pro here, the 6-bay model, will be out relatively soon. Stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I have put links in the description towards this and a few other devices if you're looking for good value NAS solutions right now in 2026. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.